I don't want to say it was a surprise, but I think that there's some positives that you can take out of the vote that happened for girls wrestling. With the delegates that were there was 50 delegates there, and you need a 3/5 majority in order for something to pass. So the vote needed 30 votes in favor of in order to pass, and it received 29. There's a lot of people that are upset about that, but to be honest with you, you have to look at it in a positive light, because very rarely does something of that magnitude, a proposal of that magnitude, pass on the first time. So the fact that it got 29 votes is a positive. There's a lot of interest, and there's a lot of people that are for it. I think that there were some unanswered questions for some of the people that voted no that can probably be answered prior to the next time they submit a proposal. I've already been contacted by some administrators that are in favor of it, and they're going to get a group of people together to submit another proposal and make some changes to it, and they've invited me to have some input and put something to help them put something together so that we can look at it objectively and hopefully answer some of the questions that were in the minds of the people that were voting were unanswered. So I got to look at it in a positive light, and to be honest with you, the fact that it was that close, I think that people know that it's more than likely inevitable. I mean, it's sweeping across the nation. The number of states that sanction wrestling doubled in 1 year, and it could, have another impact this next year. I think that majority of the states will eventually have it anyway. I think that the one thing that Nebraska doesn't want, they don't want to be last. You don't want to be the last one to finally figure it out. So in my mind, there was a lot of positives, and I've got to look at it that way. I'm going to help them with whatever they ask, and majority of my input is going to be information. The nice thing is, with all those schools, or states, I should say, that have sanctioned it over the last year, I can gather all that information, I can get all that stuff, and we won't have to reinvent the wheel. We'll also have the opportunity, through my connections with other state associations, to ask the questions, all right, what would you do differently? How would you change this? And I've already got some input from some states that implemented it this last year, and it wasn't anything catastrophic or huge, but it was little things that you don't think about until it comes about, and then you're like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. So we have the luxury of learning from their mistakes and some of the things that they did before we even implement it. And to be honest with you, if we have a great number of participants, then we can look at implementing the championship sooner than what I thought was probably capable of with this proposal. So that being the case, I've got to be optimistic about it. I think that the majority of the people were initially upset, but if I just have to send that message that you got to look at it differently. You have to look at it as a positive, because it really was, I mean, one vote. And if you think about it, duels has been a great implementation for wrestling, and it took several times for it to be proposed before it passed. And when it did pass, it passed by one vote. And now it's in there, and it's going to be in there for a while. I mean, I don't see it going anywhere. The format change and everything that we had this year was fantastic, and there was a lot of excitement to it. So some of the people that don't like it are non-wrestling people. I don't know of anybody on the wrestling side that just hates duels. I'm sure there is, but I don't know. They don't come to me and talk about it, because I implement it and am in favor of it.